his nomination likely would not move forward. Let's talk about some of the latest developments with Jason Meath, who is a Republican strategist and former marketing director for the Republican National Committee, and Joel Payne, who is a Democratic strategist and former Deputy National Press Secretary to Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid. Good to see both of you. Always good to talk to both of you. Jason, let me start with you. As far as the FBI investigation itself, good compromise, or should senators have been forced to vote?
Well, I think this is sort of rewarding some of the worst political behavior we've seen in a generation by granting this FBI investigation. The FBI doesn't really have too much to investigate here. Hopefully they can come up with something, but really I don't think anybody is holding their hopes all that very high. We've heard the testimony last week, and you know, it didn't really shed any kind of new light on anything. The prosecutor, the sex crimes prosecutor that was brought in, actually issued a statement over the weekend to the Senate saying that she would never bring a case like this in a million years to prosecution. There just simply isn't enough there. In fact, it's even worse than a he said, she said, because there just isn't any corroborating evidence. And to compound that fact that Judge Ford herself can't seem to remember where the party was, when the party was. She's changed her story about how old she was at the time. She's changed her story about how many people were there. When she finally did tell people who she thought was at the party, they went and interviewed them, and not a single one of them backs up her story. There's really nothing there to go on. So we'll see what the FBI can turn up. I think it's really more of a formality at this point, and see where it goes from there.
And Joel, if there is no so-called smoking gun that turns up in this FBI investigation, what is it that you're looking for, that you would look for, I should say? You're not doing the digging yourself, the FBI is, but what would you look for in this investigation?
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, your other guess, there wasn't really much facts that he just provided, and while I don't think it's the best use of your viewers' time for me to go bullet by bullet to refute them, I guess what I would say is the reason why this was done is not because of Democrats, it's because of Republicans. If Republicans wanted to jam this nomination through, they could have. They have the votes to do so, but they don't have enough support within the president's own caucus because there's a lot of doubt about Judge Kavanaugh, and not just about his behavior on that evening and whether it can be disproved that he behaved poorly, but also because of how he comported himself as a potential jurist in front of the committee last week, which was the big story, was while he may have quelled any concerns from the White House or from Senate Republicans, he did nothing to quell any concerns about his temperament and about the type of jurist that he would be. So he faces an uphill challenge now. I'm sure the FBI will do a lot of digging this week, and I'm sure, by the way, that with the value of time, it's not like less bad information or incriminating information is going to come out. So this is not a good development for the president, for Senate Republicans, and for Judge Kavanaugh.
Joe, let me stay with you for a second, though. If the FBI does not really turn up anything that we don't already know in this investigation this week, if it goes to a vote and he is confirmed, are Democrats satisfied, at least, that it went to the FBI?
I don't know if it's about Democrats being satisfied. I think Democrats would be satisfied if the process was better from the beginning. I think Democrats, like a lot of Americans, would also be satisfied if they could say with assurance that Judge Kavanaugh is the right type of person to be on the Supreme Court. Again, many folks from different sides of the aisle, Democrats for Republicans, Republicans for Democrats, have voted for judicial candidates in the past. There were a few Democrats that voted for Judge Gorsuch last time around. So there's nothing unique about Judge Kavanaugh except for the fact that questions have been raised about his qualifications.
Well, Steve, you know, I mean, it's funny he talks about the process. The process has been egregiously rolled out by Senator Feinstein's office. In fact, over the weekend, we've learned that there's probably going to be an investigation, and should be an investigation, of Senator Feinstein's rollout of this letter, of their exposing this woman's anonymity. You really have to wonder, if they really wanted a background check and they really care about Dr. Ford, why in the world didn't they release this information to the FBI or the proper authorities back in July?
Well, Jason, it's great questioning, but that cat's already out of the bag, so we have to move forward at this point. So it's going to come down to a vote at some point, and the question then is, if he gets confirmed at this point, Does every issue that comes up down the road at the Supreme Court, is this brought back to the forefront again? Can he serve on this court without being questioned every step of the way?
Well, sure he can, and he should be, because we have a system in this. No, I mean, listen, I don't have a problem with people believing Dr. Ford. What I have a problem with is people believing Dr. Ford without a shred of evidence. It doesn't have anything to do. This is a case of one man versus who is accused versus his accuser, and without any evidence, simply you cannot accuse someone and have them indicted and smeared, and their family smeared, and their reputation smeared, and their entire character smeared before the entire eyes of the nation, and expect any type of system of justice.
Joel, we're not going to let you go
in this country.
We'll let you get your word in, Joel. We're not going to let you go without having a chance to respond.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think what we saw Friday was a lot of doubt that was created about Judge Kavanaugh and his denial here. And whether or not I think he did it or I didn't think he'd do it, again, it comes back to the fact that this is about Republicans, because I will remind you, Republicans, if they wanted to push this nomination through, not a Democratic vote is required, not Joe Manchin, not Heidi Heitkamp, not anyone. Republicans have the votes if they can build enough support in their own caucus. They can't because there are concerns about Judge Kavanaugh. That's the facts here.
Well, it's all political, though. That's the problem with this whole process. Is nothing but scoring political points before the midterms, and it's really become a travesty of justice.
There's no doubt that it is political, and I appreciate both of you joining us with your respective perspectives. We'll talk to you both again soon, I'm sure. Thanks, guys, and we will see you down the road. It is 7:36 right now.